Loud. Well, hello there. My name is Sarah Bardell, and I'm so excited to have with me a special guest here, Shona Brunton, who is the team leader with Mary Kay. And we are so excited to be able to share with you her story, how she got started with Mary Kay, and how she makes her Mary Kay business work for her, being a busy mom, professional, et cetera, et cetera. And so before we get started, so thanks, Shona, for taking the time to come on and do this with me tonight.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I know it's exciting. So before we do get started with our interview, I do like to give everybody a little bit of a reference to why we share this information um, and what this interview is going to look like a little bit. And so, why we take the time to share Mary Kay stories. Stories is at the heart of our business, and we're looking for women who are looking for us. We're looking for women who are looking for our story and is looking to make a story for herself. And so, by sharing our stories and inviting women to come and listen to them, we know that that's how we would find those women who are looking for us. And so if that's one of you tonight and you're watching, thank you for being here. We love to connect with you, and we hope that tonight is inspiring for you. Another reason why we like to share this is because we know not everybody, Mary Kay, will suit everybody, but we love to share the story and the heart of our business. What we have noticed over time is that when you understand the history of Mary Kay and the personal stories that go along with consultants and sales directors, you have a deep appreciation for the company, our products, and love what we stand for and love what we do. And that actually builds great customer loyalty. And even though it might not be for you, you might know somebody who would be interested in this. And just by participating and listening to the story, you might be thinking to yourself, I know somebody and I would love to connect you. And then the last reason is we just love to get together. Our community in Mary Kay is the heart of everything. And so anytime we can gather together and listen to these stories, it just breeds belief into us over and over and over again and reminds us why we do what we do. So if you're watching tonight, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it, and we hope that this is an inspiring watch for you. Um, I'm just going to start by giving you a little bit of a background about starting a business, women in business, or an online business, or a micro business, or there's so many different names attached to businesses these days. But whatever the buzzword is attached to it, why do women start businesses? And I did a little research and found out that Forbes magazine actually had listed the top reasons why women start their own business. Number one, more flexibility. Number two, to be paid what they're worth. Number three, to advance more quickly. Number four, to follow a passion. And I just got so excited when I read that, because that was Mary Kay in 1963. She was 45 years old. She worked for 20 years in a direct selling industry where she enjoyed the freedom and flexibility while she raised her three children on her own as a single mother. But when she was passed over for the advancement to the top position, and it was given to a man she trained 1 year earlier. She just didn't want to give them any more of her passion and energy anymore. She decided to write a book, which turned into a marketing plan, that is the beginning of our company, Mary Kay Cosmetics. And so it was a plan for a company that was built by women, that was for women, that they could earn what they were worth, that they could earn income while balancing their priorities and they could advance as fast or as slow as they want and go as far without hitting that proverbial glass ceiling. And so from this story, Mary Kay Cosmetics was born, as I said, and the foundation of the company was built on the golden rule of doing others as you would have them do unto you. And so the same reasons why women, according to Forbes, start a business are the same reasons why people start a business with Mary Kay. Money, recognition, being recognized is a big deal in Mary Kay, self-confidence and sisterhood and community and connection. You can earn career cars with subsidized insurance, and you can advance as far as you're willing, as you want to go, as long as you're willing to do the work. And of course, being your own boss and having the flexibility of when you can work and when you can put it down. And so that's just a little bit of a brief summary about why women start businesses. And now we're going to get to the good part of tonight, which is hearing more about Shona. And so Shona has been in business how many years now, Shona? 4? Are you muted? Oh, hang on a second. Love technology. There you
Okay,
go.
there we go. Yeah. I had muted myself earlier because there was some background noise. So, um, no, yeah, I think it's coming up to 4 years now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good. And so can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like just help people connect to who you are. Who's Shona?
So yeah, I don't do Mary Kay full time. It's my side gig. So my full-time job is actually a police officer. So a lot of people say like they kind of don't mesh, but um, uh, yeah, so that's a very feminine or very masculine world. And I have all boys around me at home too. I have a son who's 8, and then I have a stepson who is like
Mhm.
23, and so they keep me very busy. And yeah, and my husband, he's just coming back from
Mhm.
being deployed overseas, so I'm very excited about that because I've been a single mom for almost the whole year, so very, very
Yeah.
busy.
Yes, very, very busy. So you're like a law enforcement slash military family.
Yes, lots of
That's
structure.
awesome. Yeah. And what about you personally? What are some of the hobbies and things that you like to do as a pastime?
Yeah, well, we moved to Calgary, or I should
Mhm.
say Cochrane, about 3 years ago. So we're really close to the Rockies. Love getting out there and doing some hiking. It's just gorgeous scenery, and
Yes, no kidding.
we started paddle boarding. The stand-up paddle boards last summer.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
about getting my hands on one of those, and yeah, just love it
That
being.
sounds really exciting. So
Hmm.
you sound like you like outdoors.
Yes.
Because yes, outdoors, anything outdoors, which is
Yeah.
great. Awesome.
Hmm.
So I think that gives the ladies watching a little bit of a snapshot of who you are, and who knows what they might think, whether they think law enforcement, and Mary Kay gel or not. I mean, why not in today's world, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us how you first learned about Mary Kay? Like, were you looking for a business, a Mary Kay business? What was the story around that?
Yeah, so it actually came about when we started thinking of moving here to Calgary. So my husband had a job lined up, but when I called Calgary police here, they were actually in a hiring freeze. So I thought maybe I had previously been doing some direct selling with another company that was like a skincare company as well.
Mhm.
So I thought, well, maybe I'll just give become active again in that because I kind
Mhm.
of let it go, and that would be my backup plan in case we had to move and I didn't have a job. uh, so I called up my former director and said, "Hey, I'd like to become active again." And she's like, "Oh, we're closing our doors." The company's
Oh my goodness.
closing. I'm like, "Whoa,
Mm.
what? It's okay. What am I going to do now?" So I was talking to a colleague and just kind of, sharing my dilemma with her. And
Mhm.
she says, "Hey, well, I've used Mary Kay for like 10 years. What about doing that?" And so she had mentioned you, Sarah.
Mhm.
She had been a customer of yours for like 10 years. So
Mhm.
um, she's like, "I love the product." And I had, um, I had little dabbles of Mary Kay in my life, like in my 20s, and then when I was getting married, of course,
Mhm.
they were there at a bridal show, but hadn't really been interested in it back then. It just wasn't the
Mhm.
right time in my life, and so called you up, and you came over, and yeah, I was like, I really like the product and the
Mhm.
price point, and then
Mhm.
when, of course, I was like, okay, give me the meat and potatoes. What's the commission like, and da, da, da. And of course I was just like blown away with like, the business plan and just what the company stood for, because like as you said, the golden rule, I really try to live my life like that, so it really aligned with my principles, and the fact that they also give to their charity gives to domestic violence. And at the time I was working in that field, and knew how important the money was and how
Mhm,
needed it was. And
mhm.
yeah, so it just seemed like the perfect fit for me.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
That's a good story. It's like
Yeah,
all the ducks just all the tick
yeah,
boxes were just,
the stars
yeah,
and
ticked there.
yeah,
So I was gonna ask you what, because you didn't join right away. So you had tried the product and then you hosted a double facial and introduced your mother-in-law to the product. And there was a little bit of time that
yeah.
had between when we first met to when you made your decision. So what was it that helped you make your decision that made you say, okay, today is the day I'm gonna join and I'm gonna start my business?
Well, if you recall, you actually talked me out of joining right away because
What? I can't believe I do that, right?
because I hadn't tried any of their products, right? I was a newbie. You're like, why don't you try the products and find out if you actually like the products?
Yeah.
So yeah, I started out as customer for like a couple months.
Mhm.
It was like 3 or 4 months, and
Yeah.
then of course love the product, and so I'm like, yeah, I think I can do this. And at the time, I felt like it necessarily wasn't the right time because I was like really busy with trying to get hired on with Calgary, and financially, I didn't think it was right. But at the same time, I really liked the discount, so uh,
Yeah.
that's why initially,
It's always a good day for a discount.
like, if I'm being honest, that's initially why I signed up. So
Like, don't we all? Haven't we all, right? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's good. And so, well, you kind of answered this a little bit, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit. When you joined,
mm,
other than the discount, what was the most important thing for you?
oh, that's a good question. I
Mhm,
think the training, like the
mhm,
all of the things that Mary Kay provided
mhm.
was just top notch. Like having experienced the direct selling world, it was
Mhm,
nice to have the like all of the support,
mhm.
all the technical support online, and then as well as the in person support, like through you and everyone
Yeah.
else in the unit was great.
If I can recall, actually, your very first event that you attended was a January jumpstart at
Yeah,
my house. We
yeah,
had a house full of people, and it was like a all day training. We had a party in the morning, and then we had lunch and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a nice way to start. Just get everything all up front. That's
yeah.
good. That's good. And so what was the biggest surprise that you learned about yourself? As you know, when you start something new, there's always a learning curve and you're like, can I do this? And everybody's always surprised. So what was your surprise?
Um, I think the biggest thing was um, how much personal growth I've done and kind of like really sunk into, and how much it's like translated into everything in my life. Like personally, like with my relationship with my husband and son, and as well as like in my regular job. And yeah, I just uh, without sounding corny, I just want to be a better person, right? In every facet of my life. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that sort of is also like the biggest blessing, you know. So it was a surprise and delight at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I always
And
think that's sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say too, and just the
Mhm.
all of the friendships that I've made too. That was
Yeah, isn't that something to think of the people you wouldn't know
yeah.
had you not started? I know because our community is deep and wide, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. And so also, you know, when people start a business, there's always challenges that come. And so would you mind sharing with the ladies here what would have been your biggest um, obstacle that you've overcome since starting your business? I mean, because you started a business, moved to Calgary, you had a lot of obstacles all at the same time, but yeah.
Well, people always find this funny because they say you're a police
Mhm.
officer. Like what? But
Yeah.
actually, like picking up the phone and like calling people, right? And so I had no problem like talking, going to the vendor shows and talking to the people there,
Mhm.
and hey, would you be interested in this? And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then following up and actually like picking up the phone.
Mhm.
That was like the biggest obstacle for me, but just got through it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So how did you get through it? Because that's what everybody wants to know. That's a question. If I were going to do this, I would feel the same way. I can just hear the women thinking that,
yeah.
and how did you do that? Right?
Um, I just set goals for myself. Like,
Mhm.
okay, today I'm gonna call at least 5 people, um,
Mhm.
and I'd like set a specific time, and um, I would, did
Mhm.
a lot of self-talking and coaching.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, no kidding.
it's not the end of the world. Like, you're a you're a police officer. You
Yeah.
can do this. You can do hard things. So yeah, and
You can
then
do hard things. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and the more I did it, of course, the easier it got.
that's good.
Like
And then
every
you had a group of women telling you should just put your uniform on to make the phone calls because that's when you feel like I'm like, just put your uniform on and then make your calls. Feel confident.
whatever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so good. I think that's really important to, oftentimes women make, assumptions about people. Oh, if you're in law enforcement, obviously you're very confident and very powerful and have that. But to hear that you struggled picking up the phone to call people would be like, she's normal, just like me, right? She can do it. I can do it. That's so good. I love it. I love it. I love it. Such a good story. So if you could go back, to the beginning of your Mary Kay business, right from when you started, and tell your new beauty consultant self one
Hmm.
thing, what would you tell her?
I I told her she probably still wouldn't change because I always learn things the hard way.
Yeah.
um, but I would say like just
Mhm,
jump into it both feet.
mhm, mhm,
Initially, when I signed up, I was thinking this isn't the right time. I'm too
mhm,
busy. Um, I don't have enough money,
mhm,
to
mhm,
create the initial inventory. But
mhm,
there's never a right time.
mhm,
And so, I felt like, we can't second guess, and hindsight's 2020. But there was a year or two where I
mhm,
was just treating it as a hobby and not as a business, and
mhm.
not giving it the respect that it deserved. And
Yeah.
and so who knows who um, came across
Mhm,
my path that could have potentially been
mhm.
a customer connection. So, but yeah,
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it because we know how precious those are when we have interactions,
yeah,
spontaneous interactions with people, and we meet them and you think, how do I not been doing this? I may have missed this relationship, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's so good. That's good to tell yourself, your new beauty consultant self, because I think that would propel people, the missed opportunity that would,
yeah.
give people a little bit of courage to jump in. So that's awesome.
But at the
And
same time,
mhm.
give myself some grace. So,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, we should all be doing that, right?
yeah.
So hard on ourselves. And so I didn't have this question. I didn't tell you this question ahead of time, but I'm thinking about it right now. And I think people they're listening to you saying that you're a police officer, your husband is away, you're operating as a single mom right now. And so how do you make your Mary Kay business fit into your
Yeah.
world? Not just how you make those phone calls, but what does a typical week look like for you?
Yeah. So COVID, although it's changed a lot of things as far as
Mhm,
not being able to meet in person,
mhm.
it's kind of been a bit of a blessing because
Yeah.
um, I don't have to do as much driving. Things are
Mhm,
being done virtually, so I don't
mhm.
have to worry about babysitters. That is
Yes.
like the biggest blessing.
Yes.
So I just work when I can,
Mhm,
and schedule a lot
mhm,
of things.
mhm,
So when I have my day off, I'll have a chunk of
mhm.
time where I can just schedule everything and get it done that way. And yeah, just work when I can.
That's right. Just kind of, you don't have to have like tons of designated time. You just kind of weave it in to the
Mhm.
things you're already doing. So if you're doing something with your family or and you have to drive somewhere, you'll go and do your deliveries,
Yeah,
at the same time or
he's come with
after.
me on a lot of deliveries.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? Or your son gets to entertain himself doing something that maybe he wouldn't be doing all the time, like video games or whatever, if you're doing a
Like
a
right.
session with, yeah, like right now, right? But not all the time, but it has its place for sure, right? Yeah, so I think that gives everybody a good picture. You just work it in when you can. And you also have some really good systems in place that help you take all the non-people time, like the non-people time work that we would do in our business, where you're not actually like interacting, showing product, selling the product, but you have some really good systems in place that you've learned to work through too, right?
Yeah, there's so many apps, so many digital tools that a lot that are free that
Mhm.
really, really take all of that away from me and frees me up to do other things. But just the tools from Mary Kay
Yeah.
themselves, the fact
Hmm.
that they have amazing marketing, you
Hmm.
know, social media posts and things like that, that is so professionally done. I don't have to worry about creating
Yeah.
that myself. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
So just the back office support, that's what I'm hearing you say, right? So people are like, how do I do all that? Well, you don't, because Mary Kay does it for you and they share it with us.
Yeah.
So that's so good. We are so lucky to have a corporate office that does that for us for sure. And so I guess lastly, if you could say one thing to the women who are watching, a thought for our viewers tonight who might be sitting on the fence about direct sales or about a beauty business, or like you wondering if this is the right time, what would you share one thing with them that could help them be closer to making a decision?
Mm. Yeah. So as far as direct sales go, I know a lot of people, um, they're worried about, the stigma around direct sales, but
Mhm.
um, along my journey, I realized that it's basically like franchising. You're still a business owner, but everything is done for you. The products have already been developed. Your marketing has already been developed. So it frees up, like I was saying, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it just makes it so easy to work into your life. And if you're still wanting to keep your full-time job, it allows you to do that and still have like the little side hustle. It's a great opportunity for that.
I think that's really good to say, because sometimes people do think about it. Do I really want to be in direct sales? It's not necessarily about Mary Kay. It's about being in direct sales together. And
Yeah.
actually, I think if anything, COVID really showed that direct sales was positioned very well to be able to continue to operate. And we're very lucky that we have the support in the corporate office that we do, that advocated to keep everything open and running for us so we could run our businesses, which was really huge, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that Mary Kay closed their facility of making products and made hand sanitizers, that they were seconded by the U.S. government to do that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it made us feel like we were part of that as well, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
There's so many great things that we could tell you about our company, that we're a top 5 beauty brand. Of course, we sell skincare, cosmetics, body care, and fragrance. And we're now in dermacosmetics, which is really great. So pure retinol, 0.5%. And it's just getting better and better. And Mary Kay's always been on the cutting edge and stuff. And so lastly, I guess I could just share with the ladies, we've talked a little bit about tools and stuff, so I'm not going to mention that, but people always wonder, how easy is it to sign up? Like if you were to help a woman start tonight, Shona, what would that process look like?
It's super easy. She would just have to go onto my website and just like a few clicks and you're done. That's it.
That's good. Yeah. So she just has to click sell Mary Kay, fill out the website. And how much does it start? How much does it cost to start? What do you get with that?
$24.
Yeah, a whopping $24. And then you get a website with that. So you can sign up right away to have a personal website in your name, where you can share that on social media, and all the tools and access to our InTouch back office is available right away, right?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that's so easy. That's so great. Well, I just loved having this conversation with you. And I know that women who will be watching will be loving hearing this too. It was fun. It was, I think it is when we can kind of laugh at ourselves and say the things that people are thinking, but not really saying, like, does that really fit law enforcement, Mary Kay,
Hey,
like, or like that. But I think you did a great job, and just so happy that we had this time together. And so if there's anything else you want to say before we sign off.
no, I just Yeah, Mary Kay is like, as I said before, this is gonna sound cheesy, but really has changed my life, and I never thought
Yeah.
that I would be saying that like 4 years ago, but yeah.
Yes, I know. I think that's probably always what people are surprised at the most is how much it does. It changes you for the better. It changes your relationships, and we're always just amazed at the blessings that come from this business. We're so thankful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being with me tonight, and thanks for everyone who took the time to watch. We hope you enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Good night.
Great, thanks.